Folks, how you doing? This is Wayne S. Pierce for the American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Yeah, still got the Weebly site, but we'll use that for now. That's okay, isn't it? Yeah, that's fine. So anyway, let's take a look at, I didn't have a podcast yesterday because, as you know, as you all know, I've mentioned this a few times, that I do, outside of the studio, I do theater. I'm big in live theater, community theater, that kind of thing. So I've been casting a show. So, so I've been, opening night was last night, so that's why I didn't have a podcast yesterday. So anyway, today, though, I don't have to go back tonight till 7 o'clock, so I'm good. 6:30, somewhere. So I'm good. So I'm here for you today on this 11th, I believe, of November. Yes, 11th of November, 2017. It's, it's one of those days, folks. I woke up and I'm like, have you ever had those days where you just like... You throw the covers off and you put your feet on the floor and you're like, am I standing up yet? Yeah. It's not. It's just, long night, just, oh, man. Man, oh, man, yes. But anyway, I feel good. Just sipping on my coffee, folks. I'm just, There, see, sipping on my coffee. Yeah, I feel good now. It took about an hour and just kind of get my body moving, So anywho, this is the 11th of November. 11th of November. Lots of stuff has been happening. I've been in and out of the studio all day yesterday until about the afternoon, then I had to go to the theater, so, anywho. The whole issue with what's going on in our country today is literally on the laps of the far-left, liberal, progressive, elites, shadow government. It's all there. It's every last bit of it is there. Every last bit of it. And when I say progressives, I'm talking Democrat and Republican. Okay? So it has nothing to do with one specific group. It has nothing to do with the president or the vice president or, Trump or Pence or, whatever. It has everything to do with the shadow government. It has everything to do with that larger group of people that are running things. Okay? That's where it all is. Now, are we going to be cruising into a war with North Korea? Are we going to be saddled with massive debt when that happens? Are we going to be, rationing things? Because North Korea, well, let's just put it this way. They, from what I'm hearing on the fringes of all this, the North Korean citizens are pretty pissed off at Kim Jong Cheeseburger. Okay, Kim Jong-un. And they're pretty pissed off. But because of the situation they're in, there's not a whole lot they can do. Oh, they can, upset the apple cart, but North Korea just tip it back up, keep going. But, it's got to take an intervention somehow to stop that crazy little bastard from continuing to do what he's doing. Okay? I mean, it just doesn't, to me, it doesn't really flow, right. When we, the United States of America, is seen as the world's police. It doesn't, just exclude us from that whole equation for a minute. How would North Korea be right now if, and I'm going to say this because they are getting, North Korea is getting support from China and Russia. If China and Russia came in and slapped, Kim Jong-un really hard and just said, okay, enough of your bullcrap, we wouldn't be involved in all of this. But it's not happening. It's not happening at all. And to really gauge this, you have to really put yourself in the position of an observer instead of being actively involved in the process of, in other words, these politicians that are pushing for war, they need to shut their big damn mouths, and they need to step back and look at the situation for what it is and allow the process to curb North Korea to work. I'm not talking diplomacy either. I'm talking literal sanctions, these things. Are there any sanctions on North Korea? Not that I can see either from China, Russia, or the UN. I don't see any of that. I see North Korea looking at us going, we're going to kill you, and looking at the military-industrial complex here in the U.S. going, yeah, nice try. So saber rattling is what they call it. So I see a lot of that. But I also believe that China and Russia need to step in and just slap this, little pissant really hard and just say enough. He's a brat, if you look at him. He's just a complete brat. How old is he? You know what I'm saying? How old is he? I mean, and he's the leader of North Korea. What? Let's see. How old is Kim Jong? Is it Un? I think. Yeah. Let me look. Yeah. So he was born in 84. Do the math. Okay. So what? 43? I know. 33. Is that where he is? 33. Excuse me? Yeah. Is that right? Is my math off? So he was born in 84. So here he is, controlling a country at his young age. Okay. Yeah, a boy needs to be slapped. You know what I'm saying? That boy just needs to be slapped into next week. You know what I'm saying? And China and Russia need to do this. Now, of course, we've heard that China and Russia are telling, they're pulling back from North Korea because, of course, they look at the U.S. and they're going, oh, we don't want to piss off, the U.S. either. So we've got pretty good relations with them economically. Look at what we do with China. I mean, walk in any Target and Walmart in your area, most of the stuff is from China. So we're supporting them, okay? I'm not kidding you. We are supporting China. We don't get anything from Russia that I know of, that I've seen. I haven't seen anything that we get from Russia as far as, products and stuff like that. So I haven't seen it. But we help them out. We've helped, financially, we have helped Russia. Humanitarian, I shouldn't say financially. We trade with them as well. But so we're having a pretty good relationships with Russia and China. You know what I'm saying? But North Korea's over there thumbing their nose at the U.S. going, we're going to throw some bombs your way. And the U.S. is going, really? Are you serious? And President Trump's going, we just need to slap them hard. put him in his place. But see, then you get people saying, well, President Trump wants World War III. No. No, he doesn't. He wants to stop this before it gets out of control. And Russia and China are looking at North Korea going, yeah, chill. Just kind of sit over in the corner, you little fat bastard, you brat, and just, let things go, just sit over there. And he's not doing it. He's being very rebellious. So anyway. Anywho, Watchdog Group may have exaggerated key claims in anti-Trump lawsuit. The plaintiff's professions are an essential aspect to the disposition of the case. Daily Caller is reporting this. 11th of November 2017. A Washington-based watchdog group that frequently litigates against President Donald Trump may have exaggerated key claims in a high-profile lawsuit alleging that the president is unconstitutionally leveraging the power of his office for profiteering. No, he's not. That came out a little while ago. The idea, the concept in another varying degree of this, said, no, he's not doing that. The National Review Online reports that Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington may have misled a federal court in New York with respect to the professional background of 3 plaintiffs in their lawsuit, Crew versus Trump. The plaintiffs' professions are an essential aspect to the disposition of the case before the court rules on the merits of their suit, which alleges that Trump's commercial entities profit from business with foreign governments in violation of the Constitution's emoluments clause. It must first establish that the plaintiffs have standing. In order to bring a lawsuit, a plaintiff must first establish that the defendant has inflicted a concrete, tangible, and particularized injury against them. Here the plaintiffs claim that their economic livelihood has been adversely affected by their inability to compete with Trump's businesses following his election to the presidency. The plaintiffs claim that they are event planners, hoteliers, and restaurant owners who have lost business in recent months as prospective customers flock to Trump properties to curry favor with the administration to secure greater exposure. Number one, that's a frivolous lawsuit. Shouldn't even be in the courts. It's frivolous. Why? Because anybody, it doesn't have to be the president. You can be a rich Hollywood elite actor, producer, whatever, and people do it all the time. They want to have a part, or they want to put some product placement in a movie. They're going to go and smoosh to this guy, you know what I'm saying, or this woman, in Hollywood, and say, hey, you put my car name in the, picture, and, blah, blah, blah. And, it's the same damn thing. So this is a frivolous lawsuit. So they're looking at the merits of the case, so that's good. I'm going to put this on American Liberty Radio podcast. Yeah, folks, a lot of this stuff, just use common sense. You know what I mean? We see it every day. We see these things every single flipping day of our lives. And we're only concentrating on, one big thing because he's in the news? No. This is a frivolous lawsuit. I hope the judge throws it out. So, let me move on to Breitbart, 11th of November 2017. Alabama, ABC affiliate. This goes back into the television area of entertainment. So, get this. I saw this headline, or a similar headline describing this as well. Alabama ABC affiliate can't find one voter who believes WAPO, Washington Post report about Roy Moore. Quote, it's hard to believe the events that transpired yesterday, unquote. This is from Breitbart. And I'll put this link from Infowars.com on the American Liberty Radio podcast, 11th of November, 2017. During a segment that aired on Friday's broadcasting, Birmingham, Alabama, ABC affiliate WBMA 3340's 5 p.m. local news, political reporter Lauren Walsh sought out voters in Columbiana, is that it? Columbiana, Alabama, to gauge their reactions to the Washington Post report that alleged Republican U.S. Senate hopeful Roy Moore engaged in inappropriate conduct with 4 teenage girls more than 34 years ago. Can I just stop right there and say it was 34 years ago if this alleged incident literally happened, okay? None of the respondents, according to Walsh, told her they believed the Post's reporting, quote, it's hard to believe the events that transpired yesterday, unquote. Gordon Fluker in nearby Wilsonville, Alabama, said to Walsh about the Washington Post report. Fluker's response was the standard, according to Walsh. Quote, out of all the voters we spoke with Friday in Columbiana, we didn't find one voter who believed the Washington Post report about Moore, unquote, she said. So this is going up. It's got a video there as well. It's going up on American Liberty Radio podcast. Okay. There are, I have to say this. Have you ever just looked at someone after they were trying to explain something and it's like you got that deer in the headlight look? I mean, seriously. You just like, you know, you're like, what did they just say? You know? Anyway. Again, Breitbart Jerusalem, 11th of November 2017. Alabama accuser deletes anti-Moore, anti-Trump social media post. Accuser, fervent Democrat who worked for Hillary Clinton campaign. Birmingham, Alabama, a woman who alleges that she engaged in a legal and consensual but inappropriate relationship with Republican senatorial candidate Roy Moore has deleted multiple political postings from her Facebook page. Some of those postings by Deborah Lesson Gibson were critical of Moore, while one was related to Moore's Democratic opponent, Doug Jones. One posting shows a picture of Gibson with Vice President Joe Biden and says that she did work for him in 2012. One older version of that image is still on her page, while another more recent posting of that same image in response to a posting from Jones's official campaign Facebook page was removed, but was captured by Breitbart News. It says read more, so that's going on American Liberty Radio podcast. Yes, folks. It is, but it is. It's interesting to me that it's interesting to me that we have people who would side with the likes of Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton and all those that are against Trump. It's just interesting to me, and it amazes me that nobody can use common sense to really think, well, you know, maybe I should take a look at everything. Maybe I should take a look at not just that one thing that I hate, but let me take a look at everything, and let me take a look at how I'm reacting to certain things. It just amazes me that people can't use common sense to get to that level. You know, yeah. It just amazes me, is all. It's an observation, folks. Just amazes me. SHTF, you know what that means. HSTFplan.com. HSTFplan.com. 11th of November 2017, they're reporting collusion. Hillary in talks to buy more anti-Trump disinformation from Russians. Hillary will do whatever it takes to upend the Trump presidency. Yeah, she's a failure. And let me also say this, that to a certain degree, to a certain level, to a certain part of history, this has been done before, and the people involved went to jail for buying information. It was made up. It was all set up. This was years ago. It was back in the early 70s. They all went to prison. Okay? Why is this woman not in prison now? You know what I'm saying? She should have just got arrested after she conceded her defeat, and she should have had her ass thrown in prison. Okay? She's done more to upset the Democratic Party than anybody else has. Okay? She has totally destroyed her reputation because people know who she is now. And the people that support her, I don't know where their heads are at, but, I can't speak for them. She needs to be in jail. Failed presidential candidate Hillary Clinton is currently conducting secret negotiations with former British spy and author of the first discredited Trump dossier. Oh, so if those fake reports and that fake dossier didn't work to upend Trump's presidency, let's just go get another one. What makes you think that's ever going to work? Christopher Steele. That's the guy's name, the British spy and author of the first discredited Trump dossier. Hillary Clinton's conducting secret negotiations in an attempt to purchase more disinformation on President Trump, again from Russian sources themselves, according to a new report by author Ed Klein. The second quote-unquote dossier apparently contains even more salacious charges against the president, with the ongoing negotiations to receive it being conducted by former Clinton campaign aides, many of whom have publicly expressed their disdain for Trump. In other words, fake this, fake that, fake this. Oh, look at this, another dossier that's fake and debunked and discredited. And the author, Christopher Steele has been discredited, and he's, let's just go destroy somebody's life with fake information to try to push it down people's throats so they'll believe it. What kind of bullcrap is that? This woman needs to be in jail. Somebody just want to go to her office and just, put her in handcuffs and take her to freaking San Quentin or something. Jeez. Quote, Hillary's people have been secretly in touch with Steele and are close to making a deal with him on opposition research that he claims has newly surfaced from his Russian sources, unquote, said a longtime Clinton advisor according to the report. Quote, Steele didn't release this information before now because it wasn't available to him when he put together his first dossier. Fake material, it's already been debunked. It's already been discredited. The advisor reportedly continued. That's right. If the above quotes are to be believed, Hillary is actively working to pay a former spy for information that he directly obtained from Russian sources. In other words, Clinton is working with someone who's openly colluding with the Russians to take down the American president, and she somehow believes this will eventually prove that this same president was actually the one working for the Russians. Unbelievable. going to say this, and people and close people within the Clinton camp, within Hillary's, little group there, they have come out and said, the former members of it have come out and said that she's mentally ill. I'm not kidding. There's something definitely wrong with her. And this proves it right here. If the first dossier that was faked and debunked and discredited is not going to work, let's go buy another one, shall we? It just makes my eyes bleed reading all this. It just makes me want to just, how can anyone believe her? How can anyone want to support her? How can anyone want to purposely even acknowledge the fact that they support her or believe her? It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And by the way, they all have connections with the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and the banking cartel. This is Clinton cabal. All these people involved within the Clintons, most of them are dead now, mysteriously, have died from complications of, yeah. Do you know that? Here, let me recap. When Bill Clinton, William Jefferson Clinton, was governor of Arkansas, he allowed certain criminal activities to take place. Everybody knew it. Look up Clinton, Mena, Arkansas, M-E-N-A, Mena, Arkansas, drug deals. Go look that up. And that's all on record, by the way. And so when he becomes president in 92, he takes most of his, cabinet with him from Arkansas. Interesting that within a year or so, most of them are dead. Could you say Vince Foster? But that was later. What happened to him? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just here on this side of the microphone observing things and letting you know about them. So, you guys, I hope, are, encouraged enough to go look this stuff up. I can't, to me, and I make no apologies for what I say, but we can look at this stuff and say, wait a minute, something not right here, okay? Something's not quite right. When your spidey senses kick in and you're going, wait a minute. Yeah, I think you should start questioning everything at that point. Or the Clintons lying, of course we know they're lying. Each and every day. What's that old joke? How do you know when a politician is lying? When their lips are moving. Before I go to break, I want to say thank you to a bunch of people. And I'll tell you who they are here in just a second, because this network is being heard all over the world. All over the world. We're talking a lot of places all over the world. Okay. Of course, United States, UK, and Canada, thank you folks for listening. Appreciate that very, very much. Specifically in Billings, Montana, thank you. Appreciate you guys. Turkey is listening to me. I know you citizens out there are just struggling to get by every day, so whatever you can do to get me information as to what's happening in your country, please let me know. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. And that goes for Brazil and Australia and France and Portugal. Oh, and get this, folks. Islamic Republic of Iran is listening to this network. Yeah, So you citizens, you human beings in those countries that I just mentioned, let me know what's going on. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. Thank you folks in the UK and Manchester and Vancouver and Ottawa, Canada. Thank you folks for listening in. Appreciate that very much. You guys freaking rock. So yeah, I'm going to go to break, folks. I'm going to go to break. And I will be back. We will talk more about what's happening in our world, and we'll go from there. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS.
The reality underneath the honesty. LiveTruthRadio.com. Check out Late Night in the Midlands with your host Michael Vera at LateNightInTheMidlands.com, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Go to LateNightInTheMidlands.com. The world as we know it has been turned upside down. The leaders are faced with possible annihilation from their enemies. The United States is at the brink of a total collapse. This is the reality we live in. What can be done? The truth, the facts. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com.
Hey, you folks, how you doing? This is Wayne S. Pierce right here for the American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. You know, lots of things going on. Lots of things happening. This is the 11th of November, 2017. You guys just freaking rock, man. I'm telling you. You guys are just absolutely awesome because you listen to the show, you listen to me ramble. That's really cool, you know, because you guys stick around, man. UN to host talks on use of, get this, quote-unquote, killer robots. Quote, human beings have to remain responsible for decisions that involve life and death, unquote. Geneva. This is in Geneva. The United Nations is set to host talks on the use of the autonomous weapons, but those hoping for a ban on the machines dubbed killer robots will be disappointed, the ambassador leading the discussion said Friday. More than 100 artificial intelligence entrepreneurs led by Tesla's Elon Musk in August urged the UN to enforce a global ban on fully automated weapons, echoing calls from activists who have warned the machines will put civilians at enormous risk. The UN disarmament group known as the Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons, interesting anagram there, CCW, will on Monday begin 5 days of talks on the issue in Geneva. But anything resembling a ban or even a treaty remains far off, said the Indian ambassador on disarmament, Amandeep Gill, who is chairing the meeting. Quote, it would be very easy to just legislate a ban, but I think rushing ahead is a very complex subject, or in a very complex subject is not wise, unquote. He told reporters, quote, "We're just at the starting line," unquote. He said the discussion, which will also include civil society and technology companies, will be partly, focused on understanding the types of weapons in the pipeline. Proponents of a ban, including the Campaign to Stop Killer Robots pressure group, insist that human beings must ultimately be responsible for the final decision to kill or destroy. They argue that any weapons system that delegates the decision on an individual strike to an algorithm is by definition illegal because computers cannot be held accountable under international humanitarian law. Gill said there was agreement that, quote, human beings have to remain responsible for decisions that involve life and death, unquote. But, he added, there are varying opinions on the mechanics through which, quote unquote, human control must govern deadly weapons. So, what's that tell you, folks? What's that tell you? And I agree with them. They're at the starting line. This is an issue that has to be talked about, has to be deliberated, has to be discussed because of the fact that we know you cannot install an emotional aspect to a robot, to a droid, to whatever. And don't give me this crap. Look at what, Star Trek Next Generation with Data and the whole emotion chip and all that. No, folks. No, because even psychologists and doctors and deep researchers don't even know what emotions really are, or how, people make their judgments, if they're sound or not sound or anything. It's been going on for years, folks. Nobody knows. So how can you rightly say that an autonomous piece of equipment, a robot, an android, whatever, can make judgments on who to kill and who not to kill, and who to help and who not to help? How do you do that without having some sort of as one person told me, an emotional connection to, to that robot, to that, thing, to what they see autonomously? It's not like C-3PO, you know what I'm saying? But we're not there yet. We are, sort of, but still. This whole thing hinges on how the technology of autonomy and robots and the artificial intelligence to go within that is increasing. The technology within artificial intelligence, have you seen the documents? Holy crap, they were talking about artificial intelligence. I didn't get on the internet until 1995. 1995, 96, around in there. And I was looking at this kind of stuff long before I was on the internet. I was looking at this and reading certain things about androids, about, robots, about, what we term as killer satellites circling our planet. I was looking at all this stuff back in the 80s. And I thought to myself then, there's going to be a time when there's going to be killer robots. They got the satellites up there. Why not? That's just the next step of the technological evolution of these autonomous pieces of equipment. Right? Here it is, 2017, and we're talking about killer robots with artificial intelligence. This has been going on for years, folks. And by the way, insiders and whistleblowers have already said that the technology that's at Wright-Patterson and Area 51 and other places in Florida and northern New York State and out in Washington, all the technology that is being developed, that has been developed, that is in an ongoing state of development, is currently about 70, 80, 90 to 100 years much further than what you hold in your hand as your cell phone. So Elon Musk is just a little tiny person involved in all of this technology that has been created and prototyped over the years. But the technology behind it is much further. Whistleblowers have come out and former people, people from, who were part of these, designs and everything, have come out and said so. Now, of course, is that disinformation? I don't know. But I would tend to believe someone who has been there. When you get people like Tom DeLonge, who is, I just saw him interviewed on, he was on YouTube, a little short clip of him and Joe Rogan, and Rogan asked if Bob Lazar was legit, and Tom DeLonge said, yeah, he is. And so does George Knapp, the guy that interviewed him for years and had him come, and interviews him every once in a while. And, so many other people other than Bob Lazar and all that, they've come out and said, yeah, the technology that we see on our hand called a cell phone is nothing compared to what they have developed and already in the pipeline, which is 100 years, almost 100 years ahead of anything that we see that's on the market. So artificial intelligence? Yeah, folks, it's already here. What do you think your chat boxes were in the 90s? Remember those? And even in the 2000s. Remember those? Alice and many other chat bots. Remember those? What do you think they were? That was the prototype for artificial intelligence, to learn from you. You put the input in there. There's basic algorithms, basic questions that are designed to elicit your response so that they can learn. And I knew for a fact back in the 90s, I knew they were going to put cameras on a this, whatever it was, and I forget whatever. It looked the size of a soccer ball, and it didn't have eyes, but it was just open. You saw all the stuff in it. And I thought, you put a camera on that, you put, cameras as eyes on that, you got yourself an android. Sure enough, what do you know? Boom, there you go. It sees you. They have voice recognition, facial recognition software, which is being used in other areas as well. They've got your pictures, your fingerprints, your DNA, all on digital records. And if you don't think so, go look that one up too, startpage.com. Digital DNA, go look that one up. By the way, they break all that down to a binary, type of data. I mean, go look at it. It's a process, and it's really expensive, but when you give a blood sample, they can break all that. They put all that information into a computer through DNA analysis. They, translate all that into a binary code, and boom, there you are. Your DNA is digital. It's a huge process, and it's really expensive. Go look it up. So when we look at all this stuff, when we examine everything, what makes you think that we're even safe anymore? Machines can't apply the law. The International Committee of the Red Cross, which is mandated to safeguard the laws of conflict. What? Did not know that. Has not called for a ban, but has underscored the need to place limits on autonomous weapons. Quote, our bottom line is that machines can't apply the law and you can't transfer responsibility for legal decisions to machines, unquote. Neil Davison of the ICRC's Arms Unit told AFP. Told you. You cannot install software, enough to give that robot, that android, that autonomous entity any type of emotional foundation for judgment. You cannot. They cannot apply the law. There's no way. And a lot of people say, well, this and this, and blah, blah, blah. And they try to justify it, and they can't. There's no way. He highlighted the problematic nature of weapons that involve major variables in terms of the timing or location of an attack. For example, something that is deployed for multiple hours and programmed to strike whenever it detects an enemy target. What? I remember back in I think it was the late 90s, early 2000s, watching a video, I think it was Boston Dynamic video, of what they termed, a robot picking out an enemy. And they had pictures of enemies, of, whatever it was, Al-Qaeda, whatever it was. And they programmed the robot to pinpoint the enemy and know who a friendly was. You know what I'm saying? They did this, okay? It's already out there. The technology is already out there. They know this. They developed this. It's there. Quote, where you have a degree of unpredictability or uncertainty in what's going to happen when you activate this weapon system, when you are going to start to have problems for legal compliance, he said, flawed meeting. Next week's UN meeting will also feature wide-ranging talks on artificial intelligence, triggering criticism that the CCW was drowning itself in discussions about new technologies instead of zeroing in on the urgent issue. Quote, there is a risk in going too broad at this moment, unquote, said Mary Wareham of Human Rights Watch, who is the coordinator of the campaign to stop killer robots. Quote, the need is to focus on lethal autonomous weapons, unquote. She told AFP. The open letter, co-signed by Musk, as well as Mustafa Suleyman, co-founder of Google's DeepMind, yeah, go look that one up, Google's DeepMind, warned that killer robots could become, quote, weapons that depose, or despots. Oh, excuse me, let me reread that. Mustafa Suleyman says, quote, weapons that despots and terrorists use against innocent populations and weapons hacked to behave in undesirable ways, unquote. That's what he said that these killer robots could become. Quote, once this Pandora's box is opened, it will be hard to close, they said. This is on American Liberty Radio Podcast. Okay, go check that out, folks. And Sophia, the robot, has just been given Saudi Arabian citizenship and is literally, I would say, the spokes android for robots across the world. Sophia is primitive compared to what they already have, folks. Have you looked at Japanese robotic technology? Have you looked at the Chinese robotic technology? Russia is just now getting into or has developed their own version of Sophia. I mean, have you looked at any of this, folks? There's a base not that far out of Moscow that is developing this, a facility, I should say, that is, not that far from Moscow that's developing all of this. There's also a university, I think it's Moscow University, or there's a university in Moscow that is developing, I don't know how far they've gotten, but they're developing, quote-unquote, avatar-type technology. Yeah, how do I know this? I don't ask. I'll just say that this is what they're doing. Okay? I know this. So, if If you want to know any more and want to find it on your own, go to startpage.com and pop in any of the tag words, keywords that you can think of. Russian Android technology, Chinese artificial intelligence, Japanese robotic technology, anything you want. It doesn't have to be those terms. It could be anything you want. Just go check it out, folks. This is not something that we need to be laughing at. Oh, look, we got a robot. Oh, wow, how cute. No, it's going to kill you if it is so programmed to do so. Because some of the stuff that I've seen on YouTube and Vimeo and all these other video platforms, Japan literally has built robots to help people. Look at Asimo, look at several other ones, that you can just go look up robotic technology on YouTube and look at the variations of these things. These are primitive things. These are like, remember, here's where the technology has come. Simply, breaking it down to this. Remember when you were a kid, I remember when I was young enough, my dad got me this Cox airplane. Remember, you had the strings attached to this airplane, and you would go round and round and round and round, and in a circle, and you had this thing on a string, and it was an airplane, and it was powered by a little bit of gas, and you had to flip the propellers with your fingers to start it, that kind of thing. Remember that? You guys are old, some of you are older than me, and you probably remember all that. And so that was technology. Wow, look at this. It's really cool. And then we had RC, which is remote control. We had RC cars. We have RC planes. We have all this technology now. And here it is, 2017. And we now have drones that can autonomously fly wherever you program it to go and come back at your behest. So, little side note, our planes here, commercial or private, cannot fly over Area 51, but Russia can? Interesting. Kind of strange, but I'm just wondering. But anyway, go look up all that at startpage.com that I just talked about. You'll find a lot of stuff there that would make your freaking head spin. Go check it out, man. VOAnews.com is reporting Venezuela censors opponents under guise of new quote-unquote hate law. President Nicolas Maduro had proposed the measure during anti-government street protests that rocked the capital. Venezuela is completely collapsed. The leaders are trying to get everything back to normal, sort of, but they're doing it completely bass-ackwards, okay? They're taking people who are wanting freedom, wanting peace, freedom, liberty, and security for their nation, and wanting to build in the Americanized or, that type of society where everybody's free and all that, and, without government intervention in their lives. They're wanting that, right? They're wanting peace, freedom, liberty, and security. But it's a collapsed country. And the current president there is literally screwing everybody by saying, you know what, you're a patriot, you want peace, freedom, liberty, and security. Oh, that's hate speech. I'm going to ban you from doing anything. That's against the law now. So he's basically a dictator. He is. Caracas, Venezuela. Venezuela's passage of a new law threatening up to 20 years in prison for, get this, quote-unquote, inciting hatred and generating concerns about a growing crackdown on dissent. The powerful pro-government Constituent Assembly approved the measure Wednesday. Assembly Leader Delcy Rodriguez said it represented, quote, a constructive law for peaceful coexistence, unquote. No, it didn't. And an antidote to, quote, the intolerances, the hatreds that the Venezuelan right has unleashed, unquote. Is he taking a page out of Hillary Clinton's book? President Nicolas Maduro had proposed a measure during anti-government street protests that rocked the capital and other Venezuelan cities, and from April through July. More than 120 people died in an almost daily clashes sparked by the country's deepening economic and political crisis. Activists often use social media to organize demonstrations. The new law, which carries a punishment of 10 to 20 years in prison, requires immediate action, including administrators of social media accounts to remove any hateful post and the creation of a commission to enforce the anti-hate legislation, according to the Associated Press. The law prohibits using television, radio, social media to spread violence and hatred, and it also requires public and private media to promote messages of peace for at least 30 minutes a week. Critics of Maduro's socialist government denounced the law as censorship and part of the steady erosion of democratic norms. The United States has amped up pressure to restore those rights, with the U.S. Treasury announcing Thursday that it was sanctioning 10 current or former Venezuelan government officials for, quote, undermining electoral processes, media censorship, or corruption in government-administered food programs in Venezuela, unquote. There you go. Now, all you people in the this is going up on American Liberty Radio Podcast. All you people in the United States of America that love socialism, yeah, here's an example of why it doesn't work. None of it works. Socialism, fascism, all those brands of totalitarianism never work. Shut your damn mouths, you stupid idiots. It does not work. So leave your socialism in another country. Don't bring it here. And, yeah, so there you go. There you go. I don't know, folks. I really don't. You got any questions? You got any concerns? You want to tell me to piss off? You can do that too. It's fine. You can email me at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com, AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. Go to American Liberty Radio Network on Facebook. I got some stuff there as well. American Liberty Radio Network. Go to, for the articles I just talked about, you can go to American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook. American Liberty Radio Podcast. Go check that out. Also, go check out the website, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. If you want to support the network, you can through my Patreon page at patreon.com/American Liberty Radio. Patreon.com/American Liberty Radio. Go check it out, folks. I'll tell you what, it's a win-win situation. You get the information you need, and you're supporting a network that's going to give you that information. I'm also looking for advertisers. If you'd like to advertise, go to AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Go to the sponsors page, and all the information is right there. If you have any questions, obviously email me. More than happy to tell you what you need to know. If you need to know anything, obviously, American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. I won't be here tomorrow, but I will be here Monday on the American Liberty Radio Network podcast. So, yeah, let's get out of here for the day so you can have the rest of your weekend to enjoy. This is American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS.